There we go. Gotta love that. An Afrikaans song with an English accent. Sounds kind of something like I would do. Anyway, the Creeks and Wies nie werd nie. Before that, Francois van Coke and Hunter Kennedy and Hartseer Freaks. And before that, D. Collins and Lewe op die Edge. A little bit of English and Afrikaans mix on that one. I like that little bluesy Afrikaans number. Alrighty, as promised, we've got the interview up next. But just remember, we've still got that competition. Post your answer on our Rocket Reel Facebook group. How many weeks did the Awakenings Sounds of Silence cover be at number one in South Africa? And that is, we're giving away a double ticket to the show tomorrow night in Cape Town at the Brass Bell in Kalk Bay, and courtesy of Wireless Cowgirl Events. Alrighty, so here is the interview, and we're going to interview Johan and Greg from Crowmaster. You're going to love this.
This week's interview on Rocket Reel.
So on Rocket Reel, we have our interview, and we have Greg Mad Dog McEwen, Mr. Johan Jaeger from Crowmaster on the line. How are you guys doing?
Oh, doing fine, and you, man?
Hey, very well.
We're rocking out here on the West Coast, mate.
Yeah, Greg, you're in the West Coast, and Johan, you are in Germany, yes?
I'm in Germany, yes, correct.
Greg, whereabouts are you?
From, I'm in London.
I'm about an hour from Hanover, so fairly northish.
And Greg, you said you're in Langebaan.
I'm in Langebaan, it's about an hour up north from Cape Town. Johan used to be about 1,000 kilometers more up the coast in Swakopmund, but now he's in dreadful Dortmund, or whatever the place is called.
That actually makes sense, because I know, Crowmaster, you mentioned quite a few times the Namibian coastline, but we'll get into that just now. What I want to find out is maybe give us a little bit of background. I mean, both of you were in VOD, Voice of Destruction, what I like to call the granddaddy of the punk metal bands in South Africa, and Jan, you're also Arcana. But yeah, give us a little bit of background about yourselves.
I think Johan's got the longest. I mean, Johan's done so many bands. I mean, since starting VOD in 1986. I mean, the only band that I've really had was VOD, and then in between VOD was a project I called Black Opera.
Yes,
which was actually aimed to be like a new VOD album, but it never materialized. And then that just transited into Crowmaster. And yeah, so for me, I've only got two bands in my life, which is Crowmaster and VOD. But Johan's got he's got like a double, what do you call it, whammy. He's got like 20 bands or something that he's that he's done. Yeah.
Not quite, but yeah. No, like you already said, we were double guitar duties there for a while at VOD. Managed to, after my departure from the band, still do a European stint with Catatonia in the Woods in 96.
Oh, wow.
Then I motored on to Namibia to work there, and then I formed Arcana. We did about 4 full-length albums and a mini album. And starting, I was briefly in a doom stoner band just for fun for a year here in Germany, and then started doing my own projects, being Soul Vertigo, which goes more into the gothic.
Oh, nice.
Gothic rock / metal, and various other things like something that I'm quite heavily involved in is False Idols, a project that I've actually started a couple of years ago, and managed to secure vocals on the debut EP by Ronnie Munro, a singer that was previously, he was in Metal Church for 10 years.
Oh, wow. So, yes, I remember that band many moons ago.
Yes, correct. So I'm motoring onto that, and then Greg had always sort of shared files with me that he was doing for Black Opera, and hey, at some point it just became a sort of long distance calling, slightly more structured jam session, if you will.
Yeah.
It's actually funny, a lot of bands are doing that anyway at the moment.
Yeah, I think Crowmaster, the entire project, from releasing the first track on YouTube, I actually saw it this weekend. It was exactly 2 years ago. So, so Johan and I have been working on Crowmaster for around about 2 years now. But I mean, last year was quite proliferous, or proliferate, if you want to call it that way. That's when we really started producing a lot of tracks at quite a rapid rate. I mean, it's grown exponentially in the last 2 years, I would say.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so, obviously, from you mentioned with the dark gothic metal, sort of. I know you on your bio you said it's sort of ambient. Going to the sort of dark landscapes, which I love that dark landscapes. That's really cool. Because you also do the cinematic thing, and you mentioned Pink Floyd, and I know like a lot of Gerald Scarfe, I think, was the guy that did all the cartoon and the animation for Pink Floyd. So it was very dark.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Aidan. I think that's just a result of getting older, I guess. So, I mean, both you and Johan know me reasonably well. I mean, I was always into punk, hardcore punk, and I mean, for me, just the transit from hardcore punk to metal was quite traumatic, and I never really. I mean, I was never really a metalhead from the beginning. I got into it in the course of VOD and the many years we did in VOD and stuff like that. We sort of transited into, from punk to crossover. Yes. And then into metal and stuff like that. I love metal. When we all know that. I do love metal. But I always wanted to push the boundary. Sounds too flippin' what's it? It's not my scene. But for me, it was, I didn't want to always stick to one style, and I think that's a lot of people when they listen to VOD, even today, there's a lot of styles within VOD, like and I always wanted to explore the African root thing, which I tried to do on the VOD Bloedrivier album with the title track Bloedrivier, but the rest of the band, and I'll be sincere and no disrespect to anybody, the rest of the band was not into it. They weren't into that. I mean, I wanted, on that opening track of Bloedrivier, I wanted like a whole. I actually even spoke to what was that band in Cape Town, that I'm a rumba band. They became huge. They did all the Zulu drumming and all that sort of stuff, and they wore this mask, and it always impressed me. And I wanted to. I know which one you mean. VOD, I imagine VOD. Juno Reactor used that band quite extensively in some of their Juno Reactor stuff. Okay. And they worked quite closely with that band in Cape Town for their tours in Japan and all these places. But that's what I envisioned for VOD at that time. When that Bloedrivier track starts, it's like the eve of the battle. It's just guitars, and then the heavy drumming comes in. I really wanted 2 or 3 Zulu drummers with masks on to hit those drums on the stage, but it was, I guess, at that time it was thinking too big, because we were not that big at that time, or we weren't, we weren't of that stature. But I always had that in my head, and I think with Crowmaster, I'm now getting to do that, because Johan comes from Namibia. Yes. And although we're both metalheads and white metalheads from Africa or whatever, I am not shy to address my roots, and I want people to understand that the darkness of Africa and the many sounds and moods we've got in Africa. And once Johan and I started digging into the whole concepts of old African witch doctors, I'm not talking about Sangomas and those. I'm talking about the real where the they traditional medicine. If you're actually reading to some of the early African gods and where they believe they came from, like that last song we did, Dark Star. I mean, that's based on the whole Mali belief of. I mean, they knew about the twin star system of Sirius B before even the 1,000 years ago, where the scientists in Europe only discovered that about 80 years ago. So, and I like that stuff, and I like the sounds of Africa. I grew up here, and so did Johanni. Grew up in Namibia. I'm comforted by the sounds of crickets and weird animals in the night, and I think that's one of the most successful things, especially with the American crowd and stuff like that, when they listen to Crowmaster, is that we create these sort of like seascape or firescape sounds, where you can actually almost hear the bush in the background. And
nice.
I always say to you, and I want to bring the songs out of that. So it's like it places you in Africa, and it does that. And I'm not saying because I'm in Crowmaster. That's the feedback I'm getting, is that people really get, they go on a journey. They go to a place where they can actually feel like they're there. Yeah, that's for me the most important thing of Crowmaster. And no matter if it goes metal or doom or post-rock or Pink Floydy or reggae even, I don't give a damn. It's about exploring the darkness of Africa and taking people on a journey. That's really what's important to me.
I can sort of identify with that. Well, like Johan, I spent a year in Namibia, and also, camping out in the desert there in the amphitheater in Swakopmund, and it was absolutely amazing. I mean, the sheer, with your stars, the whole vibe and the atmosphere is absolutely incredible, being out in the middle of nowhere like that. It's very, very serene and very spiritual.
I think that's, Aidan, what we mean. I think Namibia has got intoxicating blue skies.
Yes.
It's great. It's great for star watching, and that's what we actually touch specifically on that with our song "Way to the Sky," because sometimes we would lay on the farm at night, on the ground, just looking at the stars, and it almost feels like they're going to fall down onto you. So plentiful and visible.
So yeah, it's actually amazing talking about the stars and sort of a spiritual journey, because we are going to play Dark Star Sirius B right now, and then we're going to be back with Greg and Johan from Crowmaster after that. Enjoy.
These strange rituals have meaning. They describe precisely the relationship between a remote African tribe and the heavens. This tribe believes all life comes from a distant dark star, invisible to the naked eye. Recently, modern science was able to find this star and confirm its existence. Now we must ask, how did a primitive people, lacking instruments of any kind, discover a dark star hidden deep in space?
Beneath the moon stars silence, mocking what the world forgot. Right, are you serious? Twin flames in the void, hidden knowledge carved in stone. Before the ships, before the empires that watch the sky, and we're not alone. We're not alone. Sacred vows, beneath the road, seed of heaven, words spoken. No more smiling, also pain. Ancient colors through the veil. The eye of Sirius, twin flames in the void. Before the ships, before the ships, before the empires.
Dating back to a time when the Western world was locked in the Dark Ages, this ritual has taken place year after year. During the ceremony, the full spectrum of Dogon knowledge is revealed.
Whispers from the cliffs of Bandikara, drums echo through dust and dawn. Elves trace the stars' silence, mocking what the world forgot. Right.
So there we go, Dark Star, Sirius Rising by Crowmaster. And we have Greg and Johan from Crowmaster on the line. Guys, what an absolutely phenomenal song. I really, really, really love that. And we were talking about you were talking about the Sirius B, from the African culture, actually knowing it beforehand. I mean, tell us a little bit about that song.
I think I'm going to let Johan go on this one because I've been driving. Johan knows I've been quite relentless in saying that I want to keep the whole Crowmaster project very African-centric. Not that I'm trying to, like Sepultura or something, trying to make a metal African. I'm staying true or we're trying to stay true to where we come from.
Yes.
And I'm not shy to take people to Africa.
Yeah, I think we agreed quite early that we don't want to make it as contrived, like suddenly, like Sepultura did the whole jungle thing.
Yes.
Not saying that they now contrive, but we didn't want to force it. So musically, I think we're still very open. We're very, probably very international, very European sounding, but we wanted to explore the topics on Africa. Now, Mali is a departure from what we want to focus on mostly, that being actually Southern Africa and Namibia in particular.
Yes.
But we chose Mali because it's a very interesting topic. We didn't hit it off right away. I mean, we were bouncing ideas around, and then Greg actually sent me something about the Dogon tribe in Mali. And I thought that was just fascinating, the whole story, and that astronomers actually followed that whole theory up. And there was actually an old documentary. We've put in some bits of that into the song, where Leonard Nimoy, you will all remember him as Mr. Spock.
Yep.
Actually narrates it, and fascinating,
Wow.
Really cool. So around about the 70s, that really made the rounds in the astronomers' circles.
And I was quite surprised when Johan came up, because you got to remember that Johan, he was a phenomenal guitarist his whole life with countless bands. And one of the first things that happened with Crowmaster is that we were going to do sort of an instrumental type thing. But so a lot of our first songs were very instrumental orientated, very gothic, but very instrumental. And then one day, Johan came up and he sang. And now that's a huge transition. If I listen to Darkstar personally, I mean, that gothic voice of him and the remarks from people all over the world about his quality of his voice on that. So that's like a new exploration. It's like traveling to space too for us, because we're exploring that quite heavily. I end up singing in the middle of the night. I wake up and I'm singing the lyrics he comes up with. The whole Darkstar thing was, like you said, was like a little bit of a. Let me just roll it back quickly, Aidan. So
yeah, go ahead.
One of the first songs we did to keep the metal side of it, but also keep the entire African aspect of it. I've always been fascinated. At the time I was in the army on the border, I met the Ohimba tribe.
Wow.
In Kuka land. Okay, so that's when this whole African thing started, because we did a song called Gather Stones, which is actually one of the most popular songs of our songs.
Mm-hmm. And
that's got a very heavy metal edge, but it's also got a very gothic voice thing, and it's got a very huge African element in it. So, and then I started coming up with this concept. I don't know if you've ever heard of this, Aidan. You guys must go and research. It's actually fascinating. There's this whole, some artists, nobody knows who produced these stone figures. They've got, they're called the Lone Stone Men of Kukuland.
Okay.
There's about 56 of these all over, scattered all. Nobody knows the true location of all of them. They're all numbered, but they've been around for about 20, 30 years, and they're like these stone statues. Like you will drive through the desert for 2 days, and suddenly there's a statue hanging off a cliff.
Wow.
But they're not new. They've been there for about 20, 30 years. So they call.
Actually send you some images.
It's called the Lone Stonemen of Namibia, and I was fascinated by that. So I sort of started concocting a story in my head, like the Himba tribe. So because I always wanted to do more gothic stuff, like Nephilim-ish type, that sort of mood that the Nephilim fields of the Nephilim create. It fascinates me, and so on that song. So I was playing it at Johan at that time, and I said, look, for me, the Himba tribe are basically living in this. They're the most removed tribe in Namibia. They women wear dreadlocks. They tied up in leather. They're very removed from the rest of
the.
Yeah, and all these little statues are scattered all over their land. So I started concocting a story like they are the fallen Nephilim. These stone men are basically the fallen Nephilim. They are the watchers watching over the tribe.
Wow.
Okay. So that was the idea of Gather Stones. And then that sort of started snowballing slowly. And we've veered away from it in many of the tracks and things like that. But it became the central focusing theme. of what
Yeah,
Crowmaster
I think
is trying to
what
do.
we try and do is, I think Namibia is so full of lore and interesting stories. I mean, you have topics that we still want to work on are plenty.
Yes.
You have something called the Skeleton Coast, which is a song that's
Of
in the
course.
making right now. And, you know, we take it for granted. It's nothing, I mean, you know that Skeleton Coast logo, the crossbow, we think of it as like, you know, and
Yeah.
but to someone in the US or in Europe, like what? There's actually a coast called that? Whoa.
Yep.
You know?
And I mean, it was
So-
it was called the Skeleton Coast because of all the shipwrecks, the skeletons of all the
Shipwrecks,
ships,
yeah,
and
exactly.
that was on the coast. Yeah, because it's quite treacherous.
And the numerous crews that actually dehydrated or starved or you know.
That's right. That's right. Moving to, you said with the project, I mean, the videos that you guys have are absolutely phenomenal. They also sort of speak to you. So, and you also mentioned you were, I think, at the time of this interview, 10 away from 5,000 subscribers on YouTube, and that is absolutely amazing. For a band to actually get that in such a short time is incredible.
Yeah, look, and you know, you've known me your whole life long, and you've known Johan too. So I
Yep.
could say honestly that we've never been ones to chase the. But I have been surprised by that, and I think it's because we've been quite consistent in our imagery.
Yes.
We play either like fallen angel characters in the middle of the desert or Namibian stuff, and also our songs have been quite. Yeah, they're very long. There's not a short song off Crowmaster at all. Every song 7-8 minutes, and we've had them played in quite a few radio stations and YouTube channels in the States and various places.
Nice.
And people sit through that whole song, and I think that's where we since we started releasing stuff on YouTube and being featured on some YouTube channels, I was amazed by the feedback from it. People they just said, look. They don't normally sit through a 7-minute song, but it's like they're sitting there. They wait. It's like a huge build-up. It takes 2-3 minutes, and then it takes them on a journey. And you know it's. But when they look again, 7 minutes is gone, and then they want to go on another journey.
That's it.
I think we're the antithesis of what's happening these days. I mean, I look at my youngsters and I look at other youngsters. They just literally skip through tracks. You know?
That's right.
And we want to we want to recapture that sort of listening.
I mean, it's the whole concept album. Yeah, it's the whole concept
Yeah,
album. I
exactly.
mean, if you take Mike Oldfield, Tubular Bells,
Oh yes.
John Peel on his London radio show was almost fired
Yeah.
because he played the whole of Tubular Bells,
yeah.
the whole album. And then, well, I know vinyl, it works out about 22 minutes a side. So the whole 44-minute album he actually played on air, which was amazing. And that's what actually drove, sales and interest in this sort of album, way back then.
Amazing. John
I'll add a little joke to this thing. When I started sending Johan some of this early Crowmaster stuff, Johan always came back because that's what worked well with us in VOD. Like Johan and I clicked from the day I play a note, he just knows what to play next, and
Yes.
vice versa. We had this click, we had this thing going. But Johan is a very structured guy, so Johan likes structure. And when I started sending the first Crowmaster stuff, he was like, it takes him a while because he goes and then he comes back with something amazing. But he was like, it just meanders. That's just the favorite word he used. It just sort of meanders, and it builds up into a climax.
I think structure is a German thing. I'm gonna get lynched for that, I know, but yeah.
Well, no.
So yeah, that's the transition. And look, we and one thing I will say, you and I actually had a discussion about this the other night because even I speak 3-4 times a week at least.
Yes.
And one thing that we have decided with Crowmaster from day one is that every now and then I get the burn and I want to do a really like death metal-y or black metal-y song, and you understand he wants to do a serious flippin' metal song. Okay, so. And then we want to do a complete gothic song where I want to go on a 10-minute meander through the desert and just soundscapes and that sort of stuff. And we made a conscientious decision that it all fits into Crowmaster. We are not going to limit Crowmaster to a particular style.
Yes.
It's not going to happen.
We're not going to do sleaze metal, but but you know what we mean.
I actually completely understand that, because if you look at Coheed and Cambria, sort of metal band, they did a whole. I think they've got like 5 or 6 albums, which is the same concept. It's a whole story, and they're actually just releasing another one shortly. But each album is almost slightly different genres. I mean, Greg, I remember when I came to visit you, I think it was down in Port Elizabeth when you were down that side. We watched you introduced me to Therion, which is a sort of operatic metal band, and they did that whole thing with the oh man, you've just got to actually go and see the video. I forget the name of the song. It's the one with you'll see like this big Zeppelin sort of airship on the front, but it was like I think it was a 13 to 15 minutes sort of epic, and it was amazing. And I just sat through the whole thing. Yeah,
because Therion used to, if you go back, they used to be an Entombed style death metal band.
That's right.
They really,
So, I think that, that's the essence of Crowmaster. I mean, you and I have been talking about it quite a lot, because we haven't thought much about how we're going to promote Crowmaster. We don't really try and promote. The only thing we do is we release. You and I, we write like 2-3 songs a week.
Wow.
Okay. So we on Crowmaster, we're releasing on average, I would say, a song every 10 days, at least. Sometimes 2 songs in a week.
Wow.
Because we got something in our heads, we get it done, and we don't overproduce it. And that's one thing. We just when it's done, it's done, and we don't try and perfect it or anything like that. It's a moodscape, and that's what it is. And then we move on to the next song. Yeah, we're producing at a rapid rate. Yeah, and I know that was disconcerting for you, in the beginning.
No,
but
look, I mean, some stuff also we write and it's there, but we revisit it.
Yes.
We let it lie down a bit, and then when we're in the right frame of mind, we will tackle it again.
I also love what you say about the overproduction, because there's so much nowadays. It sort of falls into the same mishmash. The sort of everybody's producing or the same style of production. So it's really nice. It's raw. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we like instruments for this particular project to sort of bleed into each other a bit more. I mean, there's so much sterile stuff out there now. It's overproduced.
True.
It's the same trend that I watched in the 80s, where all these bands like Def Leppard had these really snare drums that sound like cannons. It's like it was just, and all these it was just a fad, and it'll pass.
Yes.
Yes. And I want to add to this. It's like remember, I come from a 2-string punk style.
I remember the 2 strings. I think you had 3 at one stage as well.
Yeah. So I come from that. I come from that background. But what people don't realize about me is that I grew up obviously in the 80s. So I was heavy influenced by bands like Talk Talk and Depeche Mode. I mean, before I picked up the guitar, I tried to be a keyboard player, and I only had a classic keyboard, and I left that world behind. But like bands like Jean-Michel Jarre and Supertramp, and those bands were big in my mind and in my soul. Like Vangelis and all these guys were big and I never managed to explore a normal musical career. Now with Crowmaster, I can do that. And Johan's the same. So you're here in Crowmaster. Johan's playing. We both do a lot of keyboard stuff in Crowmaster, and Johan's he's playing guitar. He does what we call the cavalier, who visits us all every now and then.
We mockingly call it the cavalier.
Yeah, he does that. He does that Nephilim sort of acoustic picking in the back.
Yeah,
and then both Johan and I spend a lot of time and enjoyment on creating soundscapes with keyboards and sounds. And then Johan's also, on top of that, he's now doing the whole vocal thing for Crowmaster, which has become the signature of Crowmaster. People want to hear that voice. And then on top of that, Johan's learned to play bass. I mean, all the bass guitar on all the Crowmaster songs is Johan.
Wow.
So
there we go.
Yeah, so now we're exploring all the things we want to do, So there's some songs we've come up with in Crowmaster. If you go look at some of the songs, it's nothing metal at all. It's nothing gothic at all. It's almost like little pieces of music. And
the best way is for our listeners out there to go onto the Crowmaster Facebook page and also the YouTube channel. You've got to see these videos. It's like, when you try and say something or you try and tell someone about it, you've got to go and see it for yourself. It's as simple as that.
And if you really want it on vinyl or CD, we're making it available via Elastic Stage, which is a print-on-demand shop.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, the album came out in March. Actually, the Crowmaster Corvus Albus, which is the white-breasted crow. That album came out in March. So we released that on, and we just released the CD version of that about a week ago.
Nice.
And we've got 3 albums planned for 2016, which is New Morodea, which is and then we've got the Skeleton Coast thing.
Okay.
And then we've
2016 is gone.
Oh, 2026. Yeah. And
yes, time flies, eh?
Yeah, time flies, my friend, like the crow. And then we've got, which I call the Darkstar album, which is going to be all the Crowmaster Gothic, because if you look back in the songs we've released, there's a lot of very Nephilim, Sister of Mercy sounding songs that we've got. Those are all going to go onto the album called Darkstar.
Nice. And anything that you specifically want to tell the Crowmaster fans, present and future out there?
Oh, I don't think we've got any fans in South Africa, to be honest with you. I don't know.
You'll be surprised.
I don't know. I think if you go to a Crowmaster song, imagine to go and see Steve Newman or Tony Cox playing together with the Antwoord at the same concert, and then you might discover a bit of Crowmaster. It's like you cannot go and just bang your head the whole night. There's times where you're going to just want to sit and listen and get absorbed, and then times where you're going to really want to. Yeah, it's not linear. It's a journey. And if you're not prepared to the journey, then don't do it. Don't listen to it.
We also mentioned a lot of Gothic now, but I mean, for me personally, I feel there's a lot of anathema style. At least when I compose, I have a lot of that in mind, and yes. I'm a huge fan of early anathema. Not so much my Dying Bride. Greg's more my Dying Bride fan, but all those little things creep in,
Yes. Absolutely amazing.
Well, I mean, I think for me, Aidan, it's important to hear your impression on it. I'm not talking about kissing balls or anything like that. I'm talking about your. I mean, you were always into Gothic bands, as far as I've known.
Well, if you see my record collection, it goes everything from classical to death metal. So it's like very diverse. I just don't do the. But seriously, when I listen to something, I mean, also from having done production myself. And working with a lot of bands, when I hear something, I think, okay, this is absolutely phenomenal. It's when I first listened to Crowmaster, you couldn't say it sounds like this. It's unique in its own way, and I think that's that for me is a big draw card. And I just like like you said, it's the soundscapes, and also the material as well, the lyrically, and I just really like it. There's no sort of hard and fast thing. I like what I like, I
appreciate that. That's
absolutely.
Guys, is there anything else you'd like to say? Because we're gonna listen to another Crowmaster track just now, but I don't know if there's anything else you'd like to add.
Well, I think like Transient Souls, the songs that you're talking about is that explores more when we get tired of going on long journeys. We just want to have a fast and furious session. Then we do songs like Transient Souls and that song was mostly written by Johan, so it that fits perfectly in our world into what Crowmaster does. We are there to take you on the journey, but at the same time we're there also to like headbang, bro. Like
This one, this I must add, this one specifically does not really tie into our mystical African concept. It's just more generally about souls trapped in a dimension between Earth and where they should go.
Wow, you see, that's what I like. I like the stories, and I like the sort of depth behind the songs. I think I've always liked that, regardless of the genre of music.
Yeah, I would just like to say thanks. I would like to say thanks, Aidan, for
Thanks, man.
for doing the interview. I really appreciate it. And we haven't spent much time in trying to promote Crowmaster at all. So for us, this is like a new leap, and we really appreciate it that you and Rocket Reel has showed interest. That's for us. That's the reward. That's the reward.
Oh, thanks so much, guys. I really, really appreciate that.
Cool.
And we are going to listen to, right now, Transient Souls. Greg, Johanna, it's been absolutely amazing and an honor chatting to you guys. And we will chat again very soon. Cheers.
Thanks for having us.
Cheers, buddy. Hey, all. This is Greg from VOD and Crowmaster, and you are blessed to be listening to Rocket Reel and DJ Squeak. Keep it real.
Hey there, this is Johan from Crowmaster, and you're listening to Rocket Reel with DJ Squeak.
There we go. Oh man, Crowmaster and Transient Souls. And of course, before that, in between the two parts of the interview, Dark Star, Sirius Rising. Crowmaster, please go and check them out. If you go and check out our Facebook page, group, and X channel, you will actually see for all the features that we do, we actually put all the info about the bands that we feature on this here show, and you can actually go and follow up, like and give them some love, and go and check out the videos and listen to their music. It's really, really, really awesome. And also go and listen to that. What about the Stones? We were speaking about it in the interview about those stone statues. Really, really cool song, and absolutely amazing video for that as well. It's really interesting that we're doing this interview tonight, talking about all the sort of the African, the moon and the stars, because tonight is the cold moon supermoon. Yep, and it's actually a rare treat. It coincides with a